Hello, everyone. We're doing our first official episode of the Canadian Golf Teachers Federation Professional Profiles. And I'm with a special guest from London, Ontario, Johann Kinting. He got certified a few years ago in 2017. He's an associate professional working towards playability this year, but he's been teaching ever since and nonstop. So we're going to do our 15-minute interview, get to know Johann. Welcome.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Oh, well, I can't wait to share your story with our CGTF family and audience. I think you bring some really special qualities into our organization, and you're one of the first people that I wanted people to understand what the CGTF is all about. And I think you're a person that embodies all the great qualities that we are. So, anyways, we're going to get started right to it.
All right, no, I'm not on the spot. Okay.
No, it's all good. You really had a lot of experience teaching prior to coming in, and I'm sure that served you well, but just give us a little background on that.
Sure. So I was a musician by profession, underwrote my touring and my music income by teaching. I think before I came to you, I had maybe 30 years of teaching music in school systems across the country. And then I ended up here in London. I worked at Western for a while. I worked for the City of London in their municipal, it's called Spectrum, it's geared to income programming. And then I worked with at-risk youth, and I developed music programs for at-risk youth, drop-in center for kids, street kids, the homeless kids and stuff. And that combined experience of being exposed to so many different scenarios and situations, I think really helped shape my attitude to teaching. And so I thought, would I be able to migrate that into golf? Because I love golf and I needed a change. I had done music my entire life. We talked about it with my family. My kids were shocked because like my son's a touring artist now, like international touring artist. My daughter's an illustrator. They're all in the arts, and they're like, golf? And there's just something about it. And I'm happy to say so far the migration is working. The teaching skills are pretty similar.
Well, I find it amazing that completely pivoted for sanity and change, but more importantly, you've done it in a way that's been with a bang. Like you created a wonderful marketing platform, and is really quite impressive. I think you also received some funding from the Small Business Network. So it just gives a little discussion on the golflondon.ca brand.
Sure. It was an intense, grueling process. I applied for a grant through the Small Business Center here, London Small Business Center. They're very supportive. I think you guys have one too, right? There's business centers.
Yeah.
And but one of the requirements was we needed to do a business plan and submit a business plan and to back it up, to defend it to our peers, to explain ourselves, and to like run the numbers, whether hypothetical or anticipated, run it by an accountant, get the licensing all in place, HST, all that stuff. And that really helped, I suppose, showed me how much I didn't know. To be honest, it's you feel quite vulnerable because of the risk. I mean, I put everything into it, into the business, and discussed it with my wife constantly. I mean, she's been there through all my training years. I think as long as you can maintain the passion, if you're passionate about what you do, you can overcome the self-doubt and the seemingly insurmountable hoops you have to go through, just one step at a time, one step at a time. And then I got the grant. I was successful in that, and that was instrumental. It helped me buy the truck and get a couple of things in order.
And speaking of the truck, it's pretty neat how you've applied your training. Not necessarily a stereotypical golf pro that started at a driving range or a golf course. you started wherever you could teach, from what I understand, and you're fairly mobile with this truck, and kind of worked your way to a more of a traditional scenario now.
For sure. I borrowed from my music teacher model. And so I've taught in uh, two provinces and various cities in those provinces. And I ran a thing called Music on Wheels. And so I made it easy for parents, instead of them having to pile their kids into the van and then come to the music studio, I came to them. And so on that model, I thought, I wonder if I could make that work, in the golf industry. You have to be, friendly, approachable, and, test out the facilities first. Don't just show up and start teaching people. There's an etiquette in golf where, if there's a pro at the facility, you're not going to start teaching at that guy's facility without a lot of conversation. But essentially, after 3 years, what ended up happening is I had 3 facilities express an interest in what I was proposing. And I'm real proud of a couple of those relationships. I started the junior program at Iron Creek, which used to be Pleasant Valley, and it's under new ownership. And they were without a junior program. They used to have one like a decade or two ago. And I approached them with, the combination of traditional and snag golf. I invested in swing cages. They didn't have a driving range. And so they had nowhere for their regulars, their members to warm up even, really. And so it's like a contra deal. I brought my gear, my swing cages, in exchange for land. And so now we have a flourishing junior program on a piece of land, which the juniors can use as a driving range. It's private, just for us, just for myself, the instructors that help me out, and the families. And then their members get to warm up in the swing cages. So that's one example. We're going into our 3rd year. It's expanding even during COVID. You got to hang tough. When everything closes down, you got to try not to give up. And then the 2 ranges, I'm at 2 different ranges as well.
It sounds like a win-win for sure. At Iron Creek is just beneficial for them. It's growing the game.
Oh,
Uh,
I love that aspect.
yeah, for sure, for sure. What have you found has been the biggest challenge that you weren't prepared for, or you weren't kind of in the know of?
Time management.
Really?
Time management is my biggest challenge. All the hats that I have to wear. I like to think I can multitask, and I can handle things when they're thrown at me, right? But I discovered that my personality is best suited for handling one thing at a time. Like, for example, when you're doing a playing lesson, let's say, you're following a student, they're playing a 9-hole round or playing 4 holes or whatever, right? And you're doing a guided lesson, right?
Yeah.
Um, I can't play beside them, because either my attention and focus on them and everything they're doing suffers, or I look like an idiot playing around,
Yeah.
because I have to invest myself. So to answer your question is, what's the biggest challenge? Basically, it stems from being a self-employed business owner. You're the accountant, you're the marketing person, you're the administrator, and you're the teacher, and you're the instructor. And so my challenge continues is how to learn to focus and create a schedule where I pay attention to things in a priority, and I'm not there yet.
That it is a challenge, and all small businesses are, running everything to full capacity plus doing the work is a challenge. So, I commend you on that.
Oh, thanks.
It's really cool though that you didn't say anything about teaching, because I'm sure the
Oh,
teaching part is so enjoyable and fun that it goes by and it's not a burden.
yeah, I love what I do. I love the the expression and the response of any age, of kids, of older folks, when they connect with that ball, you know? It's visceral. It's like, it builds their confidence, and it's a confidence that carries over from the golf course. I believe, I think that's one of the attractions of a sport like golf. I think that the confidence that you experience on a decent round of golf translates into you feeling better about stuff off the golf course. I think.
How's your game progressed in the last 4 years? Has it improved?
Well, according to the technology it has in my studio. No, it's, sometimes my students, they'll say, Johann, come on, pull a club, show us what you can do, right?
Yeah.
And if I don't get too full of myself, and if I don't worry about it, like I mean, when we did the playing test, the playing exam, I mean, I was so caught up in my head and I was so nervous. It was a nightmare for me. But I'll pull off shots, and I'm seeing that through teaching, you're reinforcing and reinforcing and reinforcing fundamentals, addressing errors, swing errors, seeing the error. So let's say I have one bad shot with an iron off the fairway somewhere. I'm like, oh, okay, I know what I did. And then being able to repair it. There's the 8th hole at Iron Creek. I landed a 318-yard drive on the green. And
Wow.
yeah, it was cool. It was cool. And absolutely triple bogeyed the next hole. And you know what that is? Ego. That's ego.
One of the things I find really neat talking to you, because we talk a couple times a year or
Yeah.
wherever, is, and following your social media, I guess more, is you are kind of keen to chase the distance. You like the club speed. You do like the ball speed.
Yeah. So, on my agenda, as per conversations, I mean, you're still like my coach, right? In a way, on the agenda next year is course management and playing smart golf.
Yeah. It's probably a good progression. You get
Yeah.
you knowing, understanding what you're doing wrong, and then to start playing smarter, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
the game gets a lot easier, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about golf and business is that you can continue to grow. You can continue to learn, and that's one of the things I give you credit to. You've taken quite a bit more education than just what the
Oh,
CGTF has provided.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got
Oh, so the NCCP, National Coaching Certification Program,
yeah.
I took that up there in Kingston. It's run, well, I had good fortune of having a guy named Mike Martz as the instructor. He's got quite a reputation in Canada, like nationally. PGA of Canada, he's an elite competitive player development guy. I had a close relationship with Mo Norman, actually.
Oh wow.
And I'll tell you, for all the accolades, and this guy's, you'd like him. If you don't know him, you'd enjoy. I think for me, it was his attitude. The guy sat us down as a group, and he said the fundamental component to being an efficient or an effective teacher is to have fun. And he had us playing with toys on our desks. On our desks, on these big tables at Kingston. I forget the name. I think it was Loyalist Golf Course.
Yep.
There's these big round convention tables piled with kids' toys. And the response of the candidates of our classmates, right around them, you had everything from, what are these for, right? Like I'm a this or I'm a that, right? And then others, like, we started, chucking toys at each other and playing and stuff, right? So the one thing Mike did, which I found invaluable, was there was these French glass doors in the convention area, and he said, okay, using the sticky notes, everyone got a pile of sticky notes. He says, I want you to write down two categories of experiences. I want you to write down bad experiences you had as a youngster with a teacher and good experiences that you had. And the bad experiences go on the left side French glass door, and the good experiences go on the right side. You'd be amazed. Do you mind if I ask you?
Yeah.
What side of the door do you think was littered with sticky notes? The bad experiences or the good experiences?
I don't know.
I can let you off the hook and tell you.
Yeah, because for me, I had excellent coaching growing up, so
So
I
you would have,
remember. I remember positive experiences.
So then you would have had, quite a few positive experiences that you'd have been, if you could recollect.
Yeah.
The right side door of positive experiences was absolutely covered.
Okay, good.
Absolutely, you couldn't see any more glass. And there was a few on the bad side, right?
Yeah.
And Mike said, there you go. He said, the encouragement you get from an engaged, caring, attentive coach will surpass some of the crappy stuff that happened. And that was the premise of the whole experience through this program. And I got a lot out of that.
Yeah. Here's a final question for you. What's the pin on your collar?
The pin on my collar?
Yeah.
Canadian flag.
Okay.
Why? What did you think?
I thought it was like a rotary or Kiwanis or something like
Oh well,
that.
no. It's just
Yeah.
I'm a very
Yeah.
proud. I'm a nationalist. I'm a proud Canadian.
No, there you go. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that was great. People will enjoy hearing your story, and I really encourage you to keep doing what you're doing because you're affecting a lot of people positively. You're providing instruction for a niche group, and Iron Creek is really lucky to have you, I'm sure.
Oh, well, I'm going to make sure to send this link to them then, won't I?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
listen, for all our members out there who, might watch this, if hit share, hit like, hit share. CGTF, I can't say enough about it. I can't say enough about you, Mark. I mean, you're a role model for me. If I get a little discouraged, or if I get, a little self-doubt or something, I just remember the talks that we had, and so thank you. I hope you continue forever. And I'm glad Mr. Howe is involved too, education director. I'm going to catch more of him.
Yeah.
So just all you guys out there, we're doing a good job, and let's get to know each other.
All right. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. See you another time.
Yep. Till next time, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.